Monster and Chips, Food Fright by David O'Connell, read by Oliver J. Hembrough. Prologue. Did you know that there are places where our ordinary world rubs against strange, magical worlds? When this happens, holes sometimes get worn between the two, creating doorways. It can happen anywhere. Perhaps on a street near you. An ordinary-looking door will appear, so ordinary that you might not even notice it. Like the door of a diner. Just a place that sells burgers and chips. But there might be a very special diner on the other side of that door, with very special customers. Chapter 1. Terror of the Towering Sandwiches. Joe Shue was bored. It was quite possibly the longest school day of his entire life. His teacher, Mrs. Spratley, was going for the world record on how many dull subjects can you talk about without taking a breath. It was looking like she had a good chance of beating the previous record holder, also Mrs. Spratley, by some way. Her current subject was sock making in the Himalayas. To relieve the boredom, school bully Grotty Grace was casually flicking the back of Joe's head with a rubber band.
"I'm just softening your head up for the thumping you'll get later, you little bum-toot," she growled over Joe's shoulder. Joe didn't bother to argue. It would be like trying to reason with a snappish grump monster, and Joe had met enough of those to know better. Joe had met a lot of strange creatures at Fuzzby's diner. Fuzzby's was a cafe for hungry monsters, and it served the best chips anywhere. Joe had discovered the monster diner hidden down a spooky alley behind a magic door. It was owned by Fuzzby Bixington, a big green friendly monster who had offered Joe a job. Joe helped to serve the monster customers and cook the disgusting food they loved to eat. He was the only Who man, as they called him, who had ever found the diner, and he'd been having loads of adventures with Fuzzby and his monster friends ever since. Brrrring! Much to Joe's relief, the school bell rang. He quickly dodged Grace's fat hands as she tried to grab him and rushed out of the school gates. I bet Fuzzby never got the back of his head flicked by a rubber band, thought Joe, as he ran down the alley to the familiar red door of Fuzzby's diner with its bright neon sign. But when the door opened, it wasn't Fuzzby who greeted him, but a large, furry yellow monster with one big eye and a pair of horns. "Hello, Joe," it said cheerily, just like Fuzzby normally did. Was Fuzzby wearing a costume, dressing up as another monster? Joe was confused until a green furry face appeared over the other monster's shoulder, grinning happily. It was the real Fuzzby, in his striped apron, waving a spatula dripping with bubbling brown grease. "Hello, Joe," he said. "I see you've met my cousin Zuffby. He's here for a visit." The diner wasn't too busy, so Joe and Zuffby sat down at one of the tables while Fuzzby continued cooking. They sat next to the Guzzlins, a family of little rock monsters who were regulars at Fuzzby's. The Guzzlins were slurping their favourite pongleberry and gurglefish milkshake and giggling whenever little Lemmy Guzzlin burped purple bubbles from drinking too quickly. "I've heard all about you, Joe," said Zuffby, with the same cheery grin as his cousin. "Fuzzby tells me you're the key ingredient for the smooth running of the diner." "After me, of course," came a gruff voice.
A four-eyed creature with tentacles slithered onto the chair next to Joe. It was Barry, the diner's cat. He didn't look like a cat, but no one was going to argue with Barry, as he liked arguing and he was very good at it.
"I taught Joe everything he knows,"
Barry said importantly, and gave Joe a look that dared him to say otherwise. "Maybe you can teach Fuzzby a thing or two about cooking," said Zuffby, with a wink, or possibly
Sample complete. Ready to continue?